Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Scaramouche. Scaramouche doesn't know much about your past, or your family, or the life that you lived before him. Perhaps he knew about glimpses and pieces of it, but nothing too solid. Nothing that was enough for him to make a story out of. So he never really thought much about it, because he never thought it could affect the two of you so much. But there he was. The two of you were having an argument, a very normal one. Maybe he raised his voice a little bit, but that was it. So when he took a step towards you and you flinched, he was weirded out by it. Wyan, did you did you think I was going to hurt you? Were you scared of me? He asks, a little bit worried, and you look away, biting your lip. Scaramouche, it's not the time for this right now. It's always the time for this. What's going on? I know you're arguing, Mayan, but I never meant to scare you. I promise you that. So please, no matter what happens between us, just know that I will never hurt you. I promise. And you found yourself tearing up, going into his arms as he held you tightly. You may have arguments and fights in your relationship, but there would always be a constant, and that would be the fact that he was always willing to stay by your side whenever you needed him. Venti. Well, Venti was getting excited during a pillow fight, and maybe a little bit too energetic in what he was doing, throwing pillows at you and chasing you down the house. And at first, you indulged him, smiling and giggling throughout, the two of you chasing one another back and forth, until things got a little bit heated and more intense in your pillow fight battle, and you thought he was going to hurt you, and instinctively flinched. And Venti paused, looking at you with a hint of concern in his eyes. Is everything all right, Wyan? And you saw it, the smile disappearing from your face, before you quickly shook it off. I'm fine, we can continue if you want. He shook his head immediately, taking you in his arms and telling you, you're not obligated to tell me anything, but just know, I'm here for you, and I'm always willing to be. And that's enough. For now, it will be. Xiao? Xiao knew he could be intimidating at times, but he never thought that you would be intimidated by him. After all, the two of you were dating, and he knew him well just as he knew you. So he never thought you would assume that he would hurt you under any circumstance. That's why he's shocked when the two of you talk, and he gets a little bit angry and raises his voice and you flinch back. Wyan, I wasn't going to hurt you. Why are you acting like that? Did I scare you? Am I really that? No, it's not. It's complicated, Xiao. You say, fidgeting. He doesn't understand it. But the two of you talk, and you tell him it's not his fault, which, of course, he's relieved for, but he still tries to understand why you flinched. And as for that, it's a very long story that you promised him that you will tell him about it, just in due time, which is not right now, as you didn't feel like it. And he perfectly understood. Needless to say, though, he would be very careful about yelling at you in the future, because he doesn't want to scare you in any way. Tighnari? Tighnari is so gentle most of the time. He hardly ever yells or fights, so this would be a rare occurrence for you. So the fact that the first time he fights with you, you flinch away, it reminds him very strongly of how cool he was. Once you'd flinch away at sudden sounds, or whenever he raised his voice, even when he wasn't angry. And he knew that you could probably have similar reasons. Maybe you had someone who hurt you, or grew up in a bad environment. He would never know, and he wouldn't ask. You would just have to bring it up to him. But once noticing this, He will say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mayan. It appears that my anger got the best of me. Let's give this a break and talk about it later. Alright?" He would say gently, and you don't notice afterward that he becomes a lot more gentle to you, careful not to make you panic or be scared in any way. Albedo. Now, Albedo's an absolute sweetheart, and he's very observant, so the fact that you flinched would not go unnoticed by him. He would notice, and he would stay silent about it, much like Tighnari. If you had hurts from the past, things you didn't want to tell him about, things that pained you to be even remembered, he would never force you to bring them up to him. But since you were hurting right now because of him, because of the way he was being so rough with you and yelling at you, he felt like he had to do something, which is exactly why he would just calm down, let out a sigh, and apologize, slowly walking over to you and wrapping you into his arms. "I'm sorry, Ayan. I'm sorry. I know we're not meant to fight like that. I love you. I didn't mean to be angry in any way, but I want you to forgive me about it. Alright? I would never hurt you, so please, don't be afraid of me." And of course, you can't be upset with him, especially when he's being so sincerely sorry like that. Cyno. Cyno can be very scary when he's mad, and even though it's part of his job, sometimes he can have that intimidating aura outside of it by complete accident. He's just the same person, so it's hard not to be as scary as he usually is. So when the two of you argue about something, and he gives you that glare of his, and talks a little bit more sharply in a way he doesn't notice, you can't help but flinch and feel a little bit afraid. "Cyno, enough, I can't do this," he says softly, feeling like you can continue this argument, and immediately he relents, noticing the way you seem to be afraid, the way you flinch and your voice trembles. So he looks a little bit sad, nodding. "I'm sorry, Ryan. Whatever you want to say, you can say it to me calmly. I promise I'm not angry with you. We can talk about this later if you want. How about we just calm down now and take a break?" He says calmly, and you're relieved for it. And as for what you noticed, he won't talk about it for now. He thinks it's best that you come forward with it, whatever it is that's been scaring you, and he'll deal with it when it's time.